Hey guys, Chesapeake here. Figured I'd do a quick video on some of the modifications I did to my Snugpak under quilt. Basically what I did was I took and got rid of the stock suspension and kind of mimicked my Hammock gear incubator suspension with some smaller shot cord through the main channel, tied it into a loop, and then it goes up to the S-beaner on the end, ridgeline quilt hook on both sides, and then same for the secondary suspension. The under quilt's got these grown grain tabs here on each corner, one of each four corners, and then it comes to the cord lock on each side and then up to the same S-beaner. Same exact thing as my Hammock gear incubator. And I also hand sewed a channel right here, and then I sewed the shot cord down to the underquilt in the middle, so it pulls up from each side, and that way the ends can be cinched up, and each side's got a cord lock. This is the shot cord that it came with, and you can see the difference in diameter. I mean, it's, you know, quite a bit bigger the stock cord is compared to the stuff I put in. And this is just regular reflector shot cord I got from Dutch when I did the guy outs on my old man winter tarp. I had it lying around, and even though it's a bit smaller, the two suspensions together keep the quilt pulled up and out perfect, just as good if not better than this bigger stuff. And even though I've got the more shot cord and the the 8 cord locks, or 6 cord locks, sorry, even though I've got the extra cord locks and the extra shot cord, I'm still saving some weight by switching it out and getting rid of this bigger shot cord loop all the way around. And then you know, it's just tied into a loop somewhere. That's how I did it. And both ends are the same. And every time I film, there's always a bird or a goose or a duck. Every time. Anyway, so this end's the same. I ran out of cord lock, so I just got it tied in a slippery half hitch on both sides. And there's the loop, there's the end channel, so I can cinch it up. And I left a little bit extra fabric on each side, so if it's not perfect, then it can kind of act like a little mini baffle, I guess. And so far it's seen work really good. I can bias it just like my incubator. This is my head end right here on my XLC, and I've got it pulled tighter on this end by my head, and the same by my feet. I've got it pulled tighter, so it's pulling the quilt, these two corners, a little bit tighter to get the coverage where I need it. And then in the middle, I still use the same. It's got the cord lock in the middle. I kept that way you can pull it up a little bit and get rid of some of the slack in the middle if you need to. So that's how I did it. And so far I've done it a couple different ways, and this way seems to be the best. I figured the suspension on my incubator works perfect, so might as well give it a shot on the Snugpak, and it'll work great just as long as you put the Zen channel on, which, you know, I don't have very good sewing machine skills, so I hand sewed this on, and I just took my time and put a lot of stitches in really tight, and you know, it's not going anywhere. So that's how I did it. There's my cord lock there for the secondary suspension where it goes through the loop. There's my primary, and then same thing on this side. The my XLC's got this ribbon here for tying your bug net back. I just kind of did a slippery half hitch around this loop to kind of keep it where it's supposed to be, so it doesn't slide underneath in the middle of the night if I get to move it around too much or something. But I don't think I'm gonna have a problem with that. So there you can see the ends nice and tight, pulled up right where I need it to be, and super simple to hang now. All I gotta do is clip on this S-beaner just like on my incubator, and then clip those on the ridgeline quilt hooks on, and it's set. No tying it up to the tree or looping stuff around the hammock whipping or anything like that. I just take it out of the bag, clip it on, and then boom, it's done. Take a couple seconds to set these cord locks if I need to, if I'm putting on a different hammock. Like last night I had it on my 11-foot DIY argon hammock, and the position you lay in is a little bit different than this XLC. So when I put it on this, I just took a few seconds to slide it along this main channel to get it up closer to my head, because my head in the XLC is right about here. So once I got to where I wanted it, then I biased my head and my foot corner with these cord locks, and now it's perfect, set, good to go. So pretty simple, easy, straightforward, and now it hangs just like a regular quilt. No fiddling with it, and simple to use, and I don't have to worry about getting air in these ends anymore. Not that it was a huge problem, but you know, if you don't get it right, if you're in a rush or whatever, it's getting dark, this quilt can be a little bit tricky to set up if you're new or you're a beginner hanger like I was when I bought it. It can be tricky to figure out, and I think that's one of the downsides of this quilt. It's great for the price. You know, you're getting an underquilt, a synthetic underquilt that's going to get you down to 30 degrees with the right clothing and the right system. But hanging it can be very tricky, and that's a lot of new hangers have problems getting cold because they're getting cold air in right there, and a lot of people don't have that problem, but you know, a lot of newer people do. So if you're a beginner hanger, or you know, you're more experienced and you're still having problems with this underquilt, this is how I've done my suspension. And you know, basically, like I said, I just mimicked the suspension on my hammock or incubator and added this channel in the end. Just hand sewed a channel with some spare fabric I had laying around, and got it nice and tight, some stitches nice and tight right to the quilt here in the middle, so I have something to pull against, and it's great. So that's it from me, Chesapeake, signing off from here on the Chesapeake. Have a great day, guys. See you next time.